What's the matter with this thing?
Oh, it doesn't start. The customer said as they put a new battery and a new starter in it.
Okay.
And it barely cranks over. Looks like they took the belt off too to try and see if that was the issue. The belt's sitting on the floor in the truck.
Okay.
I
know. Sometimes we just don't understand why people do what they do, but that's okay. Let me hear it.
Okay.
Oh. Well, this thing's making a noise, dude. That don't sound...
This is what it did at first when I came out.
Okay. Floor it. Let me see.
Oop.
Okay, stop. You know, it's running. It sounds like one of the chains. What do you think it is? Sounds like one of the chains is either off or loose. The tensioner is all whacked out.
I got a rag if you need that. Huh. I just noticed there's no coolant in it.
No coolant in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the bottle? Where's the
bottle? Oh, it's right here.
Oh.
The bottle's right here on these.
Well, this is not a good sign either. It's over full. It kind of looks milky, doesn't it?
Kinda.
Kind of milky. The radiator's not full. Yeah, dude, this thing's at least a couple of quarts over full.
Yeah, wow.
Well, let's start it. Let's see if we can get it into the shop. You gonna drive around to your bay?
I'm gonna see if it'll run long enough to do that.
Come on, dude, let's give it a whirl.
Not, we'll have to grab the golf cart. I don't think it's gonna do it.
I'll get the tow.
Okay. That's good.
Let's get a pressure tester on it. See why that radiator's.
Empty. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does have a new water pump, but yeah, I'll grab my tester.
Oh, I love you, dude. You got one that I don't have to hand pump.
Oh, yeah, it saves so much time. It pays for itself about the third time you use it.
I think that's what wore out my shoulder, pumping that dang, the one I owned for 20 plus years. Oh, it's got a big old freaking massive leak.
There is a big old leak somewhere.
It does have a new water pump on it.
But look at that. I just pulled that oil cap off. Look at that.
Oh yeah, here you go. Look.
Watch, I just turned it off.
Yeah, turn the air off.
And I'll just
take the pressure away.
There's the pressure, and the smoke goes away.
Well, he's got all kinds of problems here. This thing sounds pretty nasty. It begs the question: how many miles are on this thing?
I think it was like 197, so about 200,000.
200,000 miles. We got, it looks like coolant in the oil.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like crap. How much do you want to spend on diagnosis when basically, you know, you got at least blown head gaskets.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's got a new water pump on here, and it sounds awful.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I think we just say, sir, are you interested in a motor? What do you think? There's something else we ought to do before we do that? I don't think so, man.
No, especially my experiences with these 4.7s, when they get this high mileage and blown up, they warp the deck surface, not just the head. So.
You know, a lot of people, just so you know, Kehin, a lot of people say to me, you know, on the comments, they go, oh, every time Dave looks at a truck, it needs an engine. I want people to understand, that's what we do here. People usually bring me their stuff because they know they need an engine. And I'm pretty sure this guy probably knows he needs an engine. He might have put a water pump on here and then, I don't know, started it up. That water pump does look pretty new. Let me give the guy a call and see where he's at.
Okay.
Cool. This is Dave at Dave's Auto.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. We sent you a digital report. Not a whole lot on that. Sometimes you don't need a whole lot. I'm going to ask you a few questions. I've got the notes here. It looks like this is your son's truck. He overheated it 3 weeks ago. Antifreeze was boiling out. It also looks like the water pump looks relatively new. Did somebody just put that on too, or?
Yeah, I just told her I'd forgotten all about that. He reminded me yesterday. He put a new pump and thermostat in it because he was low, and I'm like, yeah, you're leaking out of your pump. Let's put a new pump on it.
Okay,
But
so
then we tried to crank it. It just wouldn't crank. Put a new starter on it. It still wouldn't crank. I'm thinking, this isn't good.
okay, let me tell you. I think why it wouldn't crank on you is it was hydrolocked. You've got such a severely blown head gasket that when we pressurized your cooling system, it's just blowing smoke out of the crankcase, and the oil it's milky and it's at least 2-3 quarts over full.
Okay.
So that the reason.
You mean there's a ton of antifreeze in there?
Yeah, when I say hydrolocked, what I'm trying to say there is you probably hydrolocked the motor. That's why it wouldn't crank. You filled the cylinder up with water, and water doesn't compress. And so it probably sat for a little while and then finally drained past the ring gap down into the crankcase. That's why the oil's over full, and it's kind of, it looks like a milkshake. It's like brown.
Okay.
Now, this is my question, and you might have to talk to your son, but this thing's got a heck of a bad noise when it's running, and so it sounds to me like timing chains. Now, I don't know whether they snapped when it hydrolocked or whether it was making noise like that before, but can you give me any input on that? Was the engine making any noise before it overheated and kind of blew up?
I don't think it was. He called me, 4 or 5 miles from the house, and he's like, hey, this thing just died on me. I'm like, well, let's tow it home, just so we didn't cause any more damage. But then he drove it about 4 more blocks up to O'Reilly's, and then it died again.
So how the water pump, I guess you guys diagnosed that that's where the leak was coming from. How long had it been leaking like that? Do you know?
I do not know.
Had he been maintaining it? I mean, was your son telling you, hey, Dad, I'm adding antifreeze to the truck every other day or something like that? Did he say anything like that?
No, he got that truck from his in-laws, and he rarely drives it.
Uh-huh.
And so, he just doesn't drive it that often. And so it had been probably a month since he'd been in it, and he drove to our house and had all kinds of problems.
Okay. Well, let me kind of work through your options here with you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, your first option is drop, stop, and roll, or what do they say? Stop, drop, and roll. You're on fire. Which means we just junk the truck.
Well, that was my question. It's you guys put in your report, it's a 2011. I didn't know what year it really was. Because it's not mine.
Okay.
Is that truck with the 4.7? Is it worth anything?
We'll take a side road here. I'm not a used car salesman, so when you say it's worth anything, I am clueless at what values are on cars and trucks. I have no idea. The best way I would answer that for myself is I would just go on a KSL. I'd punch in that, look at the mileage on it, and say, okay, that's what the truck's worth. It's what the market will bear. So if that'll help you, I mean, it used to be the newspaper. I'd say go to the want ads, but now here in Utah, it's just KSL cars.
KSL, yeah.
Yeah, and you punch in your mileage year, and you can kind of see what's out there, and kind of price shop your own car. So that's what you could do first. But let me give you your options if you want to fix it, and then you can decide what you want to do. So the first one is, it's on fire. You're done with it. The second one would be, and I'm going to go from the cheapest to probably the most expensive. I'll try to do that. So that would be the first one. The next one would be, we go ahead and pull the cylinder heads off because we know it's got blown head gaskets. There's no doubt about that. It sounds like one of the timing chains. This thing has 2 timing chains, one for the passenger bank, one for the driver's bank. One of them's making noise, but so you just replace both of them because the truck's got 197,000 miles on it.
Okay.
So we'd pull the heads off, put timing chains on it. Why the heads are off? Of course, we'd inspect the cylinder walls, and if we found a problem, then it's kind of like a doctor that says, "Hey, look, I can look inside your cylinders, but there's a cost for that, just like an X-ray or CAT scan." And what that would do, before I even tear the motor down, I could kind of look inside your cylinders, but we can take a bore scope, a small bore scope, and go down through the spark plug hole, and look at the engine, all 8 cylinders before we pull the heads off. Now, If we found a cylinder wall that's all scored up and nasty, then pulling the heads off and doing the head gaskets and putting timing chains in it wouldn't be an option. That would just be good money after bad.
Good money after that, sure.
Yes, but again, in order to do that quote X-ray, we'd have to pull the spark plugs out, rotate the motor so all the pistons, on each cylinder at the bottom of it, bore scope it, inspect each cylinder, and then give you a report of that. Next step above that would be put a used engine in it. Okay, used engine. It's a 2011. You're going to find an engine that's 15 years old. It's been sitting in a junkyard. You might get lucky, and the junkyard will tell you, or the salvage yard. They don't like to be called junkyards. It's politically incorrect. So I should call it.
Yeah.
They like to call themselves recycle yards. So
Right.
the recycle yards would have a used engine. You might find one, with 100,000 miles, 150. The problem that you have with used engines is, be aware of this, is you have no clue. You don't get to talk to the customer and say, hey, was the oil changed every 5,000 miles? Did you maintain it?
Sure.
You don't know. We can test our engines in our sim test machine, but it's still kind of a crapshoot. I can run them before we install them. There is a charge for that, but we run them wet bench. We don't fire them up live, hot. We run them on a machine where we can do a running compression test. We can check the oil pressure, and we can listen to them and make sure that they're, it's about a 90% guarantee that you're going to be okay. So
Yeah.
that's the next step, the used engine route. Then the step above that would be just put an engine in it, and then you get a 3-year, 100,000-mile warranty. You're done. You don't have to worry about the engine. Now, those are from cheapest to most expensive. I know your next question is going to be, well, how much does that cost? I'm not the guy that'll do that. That's one of our estimators, and what I'll do is I'll have them put together those 3 quotes. This is where you really come in, and you got to help me out here. As your doctor, it's best if the patient tells me the truth. Now, I'm not saying you're not truthful. Please don't take it that way. But what I mean is, if you've been smoking a pack of cigarettes your whole life and drinking a 5th of whiskey, every week, tell me that, okay? Just so what I mean by that is,
I get you.
set your son down and say, son, you got to tell me, son, did this thing did it just overheat the one time, or had it been overheating quite a bit and you were adding antifreeze to it or water, How long had you been milking this along, son? It's real important you tell me this. Because if it's been going on for a while, that's not a good thing. But if it just it blew up and happened, then you're probably okay. But
do me this, Dave.
Uh-huh.
Do me this. So I'm a huge fan of Dave. I watch you online. That's why I sent the car all the way from Pleasant Grove.
Okay.
Up to you.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm a huge fan. You have no idea. Total geek.
Oh, well, thanks.
Absolutely. So my son, what I'm trying to do, he's a professional runner, but runners don't make any money. I'm trying to convince him, bro, you can have a truck that works for the next 10 years if we spend a little money, or you can go out and buy a $50,000 truck and just be broke for the next 10 years.
Yeah, you're a good dad. Hey, listen, so guess who my best friend, in case he's going to know him, Henry Marsh.
Henry Marsh?
Yeah.
Who's that?
4-time Olympian Henry Marsh. He's probably the most famous track star that ever came out of BYU.
Okay, he'll absolutely know it.
Yeah, I guarantee you he'll know Henry Marsh. I see Henry every week. He lives up in Idaho now, but we were neighbors for 20 years. But
He would love to meet him, man.
I guarantee you he'll be excited to meet Henry. He was a steeplechase. He was a steeplechase guy. Yeah.
So my kid took 5th in the trials, and so he missed it by 2 spots in the last Olympics. And so he's really gearing up, to try to get to the next one.
Well,
yeah, if we could hook up a lunch, we'll buy both you and Henry a lunch. That would be a treat.
Oh, I guarantee you, Henry loves that. He still does so much stuff for the alumni. I mean,
I'm sure.
Yeah, he's always around. He's always dragging me to those things.
But he doesn't want to spend any money, and I'm trying to convince him that it's good money to fix a truck rather than go out and buy a truck.
I would agree with you, but let's
It's
just
in pretty good shape.
let's just slow it down. Okay, you say it's in pretty good shape. I don't know that. I do
Well,
not.
I mean just the interior and
Yeah.
have like tires on it and no rust,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that because I want to kind of consult with you on this. I totally agree with you. If you've got a good vehicle and it serves your needs, you're probably way far ahead to fix it. If it's a good vehicle and it serves your needs, if he didn't need a pickup truck, he needed a van or something like that, then forget about it. But if a pickup truck will serve his needs for the next 5 years, then what we really want to do is we want to answer this question. Is this a good investment? Meaning we know it probably needs engine work. How much? We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
But is it a good truck? So now what we got to do is do like a used car inspection on it, which is a full digital inspection, stem to stern, and kind of look the whole truck over and say, no, it really is a great truck. This thing don't need anything except maybe a tranny service because the tranny fluid's kind of dark, and maybe front brake pads or I don't know. But it kind of gives you this, what you don't want to do is like, look, the transmission, I pulled the dipstick and it smells to high heaven, it's burnt to crisp. The tranny's probably on its way out. The differential's leaking. All the struts and shocks are blown. It's a piece of crap. I don't know that. So here's what I would recommend. Say, son, this is where we're at. Dave agrees with me too. If this truck will service your needs, it's gonna be more money than you want to spend. But son, you go out and buy. This is gonna be a kicker for you. I'll help you here. Son, you go buy a $50,000 truck or a $70,000 truck or whatever you think you're buying.
Unbelievable how much they cost.
I know, and you get a diesel, it's over $100,000. That's why I built so many of them. Son, you go out there and you buy that $50,000 truck or whatever you're gonna buy. I promise you, son, this is what you're not considering. If you wanted to sell that truck in 30 or 60 days, it would have depreciated off the lot between $5,000 and $8,000, just like that.
Oh, yeah.
Just like that. That's real money, son. That's real money. The other thing you got to think about, son, is the additional insurance costs. Now let's talk about the interest rate, son. So if you can fix your truck and basically all you've got for the next 3 to 5 years, now remember, tires, oil changes, and brakes, that is the cost of, that's like gasoline. I don't care what you're driving, you're wearing out tires just as fast, you're wearing out brakes just as fast, and you're changing oil just as fast. You follow me?
Yeah.
So that's why I need to find out, does it have any repairs that we can see that are going to be costly? Oh, and what maintenance might be needed. Then we look at the engine and determine, can we get away and do this engine with just pulling the heads and doing timing chains, or do I got to consider doing an engine? And we can give you the cost of each one of those before we do anything, so that you can sit down with your son and kind of, really do a spreadsheet for him and say, because it's all about information, and I know a lot of shops they just don't do that for their customer, and that's what I think is where we really help people out.
Well, I appreciate it. Absolutely.
So I'll have her put together some of those quotes. But yeah, let's plan on, in fact, I know Henry, he's staying at my house on the 24th and the 25th of this month. He's coming down for Pioneer Day. If we can probably sit down and meet him, and I'll tell him who your son is, and I'm sure he'd love to meet him at least.
I'm excited about that if we can make that happen.
For sure.
I'll look for the note from Aubrey. It'll come an email or text. Either one works for me.
Okay. Hey,
And we'll talk tomorrow.
okay. Good to meet you, man. We'll talk soon.
Good to meet you, buddy.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's always nice when somebody, you already have that relationship. So I encourage all shops to dive into social media. Dive into it. It really, it gives you the opportunity to show your product to the whole world. And it's all about your brand. It's all about who you are, and you can show that. That's the best way to show it. That's why I do it.
Well, that's a good sign. Wow, that's amazing. Almost 200,000 miles and the front end's tight. Struts leaking. Brakes look good. Yeah, everything's tight. I'm really surprised with 200,000 miles. This truck doesn't need any front end repair besides front struts. Yeah, I could use a transmission service. It's not terrible. I got the belt off. I can check all these pulleys. Probably should be replaced, but they're not terrible. Yeah, a little bit of play, nothing too crazy. We got a small leak from the passenger side axle seal, but that's not that big a deal. Making sure with how the motor sounded when it started, they don't got a hole in the block anywhere. Everything looks good. Yeah, rear brakes are good. Wow. Whoever owns this truck has definitely taken care of it. Oh, they've even added a Flowmaster exhaust. Yeah, so far I'm not seeing any reason on the rest of the truck to not proceed with any other repairs. I mean, because you can even see right here on the interior, look at how clean all that is. It's like someone's definitely taken care of it. The exterior, body-wise, is in good shape. No obvious signs looking at it that it's been repainted. Well, it needs an air filter. But that's not a huge deal. Okay. That's good.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. All right, so here's the deal. Obviously, we're pushing it out. He just called. He doesn't want to fix it. You know, I told him probably at the very least it's going to need timing chains and you know, a valve job. You know, head gaskets,
and all that. Yeah.
And he didn't. I told him I couldn't guarantee that the bottom end was going to be okay unless we bore scoped it. In order to do that, there's additional time to pull the plugs out of it and do all that. He just, when he kind of found out the price of minimum what I know it's going to be, he was like, nah, forget it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, nice truck though, but I guess it's going to the junkyard.
Just looking it over at that used car inspection, there's nothing else like huge on it.
I know.
But
it's kind of a fixer in my mind, dude.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of times people go like, it's not worth it. But here's what I find. You know, they go and they spend the same amount on it. Who's selling a good vehicle for $10,000? First off, okay? Who's selling a good used vehicle for 10 grand?
Especially a good used truck.
That's what I'm saying. They're dumping that thing because it's got nightmare. And this thing, the only nightmare he's got is the engine.